today not only to remember Dua, but to denounce and disgrace so-called honor killings, and to basically expose as we go along and as we live on daily basis and continue our life, to denounce this horrific, barbaric crimes that is happening and taking place under the name of so-called honor, the name of so-called nation, the name of so-called tribe and family. This is how women in Kurdistan and Iraq and throughout the Middle East continue to be terrorized under the name of honor. And it's not only one form of killing, basically, that women are being subjected to. The stoning is just one form of the killing of women. You can beheading of women, basically torturing them, setting fire on them. Like right now in Kurdistan, women basically kill themselves and set fire on themselves simply because they have been pushed to it. They have been forced to do it. Sometimes the male member, they are forcing the woman to do it. They don't want to do it themselves because they don't want to be held responsible, so that they avoid, even if there's the simplest of basically investigation into the crime. Just according to Suleimania Hospital, which is not a big town, in the last 7 years, more than 3,000 women killed themselves by setting fire on themselves. This tells us that the level of violence against women is so widespread, and yet it is basically hidden. When you go to that, to those countries and to those societies, you cannot imagine that how much women are being targeted into violence and terror since the very early age, since they just become 4 or 5 years old of age. Forced veiling, basically they get them married to cousins or distant relatives and people like that, and you have no choice over that. Female genital mutilation, it is still taking place in Iraqi Kurdistan and some other regions of the world, of course, which is really, really horrific. You have no right and no choice and no control over what is being done to you simply because you are a woman, you are born as a female. This is simply terrorization. They simply want to make you an example for other women in society, in the tribe, in the nation, because we continue to basically represent the honor of the man, the honor of the family, of the tribe, of the nation, of the country. And I do not really understand, if we are so important and if we are such a big honor for all these namings, how comes we get killed and we get stoned to death in public, we get hanged in public, and yet let alone the violence in the family? That's just something I'm not going to talk about it, because it is happening in almost every family over there. Even in this country, it continues. That practice continues to be practiced in this country as well. So for me, it's a contradiction between shame and honor, guilt and filth and sin, and it's all to do with women's sex and sexuality, basically. The way you talk to somebody, the way if you smile for someone, or if you just happen to be seen with someone, that's in itself a death threat for you. Then they decide, the family decide, or the tribe decide how you are going to be killed. Don't be surprised if I tell you that Dua's murder was a planned murder. I was interviewed on BBC World Service Radio the other day, and Dua's father was interviewed as well, a recorded interview, and he said that still the killers are moving about free, and it's his family who have been isolated, humiliated on daily basis, and actually they are disgraced in the Yazidi community. Nobody actually talks to them, and he says, I see my brother moving about free, and he is the one who killed his daughter. So you can imagine, this is happening to you. Your daughter is being dragged out, she's been stoned to death, yet you can see the killers moving about freely, as if they have brought back the honor to the tribe and to the Yazidi faith. This is hypocritical, in my opinion. This is nothing but hypocrisy. How comes they can kill a young girl, a 17-year-old girl, in front of 2,000 men? I'm sure the sheikh was involved, I'm sure the entire community was involved. They are all responsible, but above all, the government, the police, these so-called institutions that they are supposed to provide protection for people, for citizens, for women, but in fact they are contributing to the oppression against women and to violence against women. The police were leading the way for the killers to bring Dua and to be taken to the scene. basically for the family to run the show, and everybody cheering and basically rejoicing. The killing of a young girl. And they said that we had to protect the honor of the family by ripping off all her clothes and stoning her half naked. If this is not disgrace, what else it could be, you know? The issue of dua is not only one case. Dua is just one of those cases that happens to come into all our computers at home, everywhere we are. We had the choice to see it, basically. There are thousands of more women continue to be killed in hiding, dumped into the rivers, drowned into the rivers, and basically stoned, killed, beheaded. And nobody is taking the responsibility. Nobody is taking films and sending it around in mobile phones and internet nowadays, so for us to see it and to feel it. For me, I don't need to see those clips. It's the story of our life. It could have been the story of my life, of my sister, of my neighbor, of my colleague, of my friend, of my relative. It is not alien to us. We feel it, we sense it, we know why all this violence is taking place against women, against half of the society. It is because they want us to be submissive, subordinate to whatever man is saying and doing, and also to be silenced and to continue to be submissive. But this is what women do not accept in that region. The mere fact that Dua was stoned to death in such way because she refused to fall in love with somebody within the tribe or the Yazidi faith. She basically followed her own desire like any other person's desire on this planet. I do not buy the argument that women have different cultures, different attitudes and different desires. Dua, many more duas, millions of them across the Middle East, North Africa and elsewhere in this planet, in Europe. We all have the same aspirations for freedom and equality and rights, and basically we have the same desires, I believe. I don't think women over there have something different to women in Europe. We should once get up, stand up against all these so-called, intellectual, Western intellectual and postmodernist views as well about the rights and freedoms of women. We have to stand up for universal rights of women. Wherever we are, rights and freedoms of women comes first. No matter what situation is the country at, we get told to shut up all the time when we speak about women's rights, about equality, about freedom, because we don't have a country as Kurds, because we haven't been recognized as a nation as Kurds. But I really don't care about all these arguments. What I continue to do is to fight for women's rights, to fight for equality. In northern Iraq, in Kurdistan, that's where I am from originally, you've got a government, there's a so-called parliament, there's women in that parliament, you have laws, police, everything. I don't understand why women should be killed and continue to be killed in such a way. Honor killing is at rise, day after day. After Dua's murder, I've been coming across more pictures and names and figures of women who have been killed. I really don't like to talk about statistics because I think we've been turned into numbers and statistics to be written in articles and journalist reports. I just simply don't like to speak about how many more thousands of women have been killed and raped and tortured, and basically even in the government offices they have been raped and sexually abused. In the ministry's offices, this is according to one of those surveys, despite the fact that I don't like to give surveys and statistics. You can see women are being targeted, sexual abuse, rape, so-called honor killing, all kinds of violence, female genital mutilation. These are just few namings that women are subjected to on a daily basis. And basically the government is blind, is deaf when it comes to these issues. When we always raise all these issues and continue to fight for our rights, they simply say, oh, our society is backwards, people believe in Islam, don't talk about these issues right now, we have to bring in Islamic Sharia law.